Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you not as someone who was handed success, not as someone who walked an easy path, but as someone who rebuilt myself from the ground up. Life has a way of testing us. It strips us of what we hold dear. It challenges us. It shakes us to our core. And in those moments, we have a choice to crumble or to rise. I chose to rise. I started by looking in the mirror and saying, this is not who I am. This is not who I will be. I realized that the power to rebuild was not somewhere out there. It was inside me. It was in every decision I made, in every thought I embraced, in every action I took. I understood that change begins with a decision, not a circumstance. The first step was acknowledging my truth. I didn't pretend the pain didn't exist. I didn't sugarcoat my failures. I faced them head on. Every mistake, every setback, every heartbreak, I faced them with courage, because growth only comes when we embrace reality, no matter how harsh it seems. Next, I took responsibility. I stopped blaming the world, stopped blaming others, and claimed my life. I realized that no one else was going to build the life I dreamed of. I had to be the architect, the engineer, the builder of my own destiny. And that responsibility, it was liberating. Then came action. I didn't just plan. I didn't just wish. I acted. I took massive, consistent steps, even when fear screamed louder than my confidence. I learned that discipline beats motivation every single time. And through consistent action, brick by brick, I started to see the person I wanted to be emerging. But rebuilding isn't just about action. It's about belief. I had to believe in myself even when the world doubted me, even when I doubted myself, because belief is the fuel that powers transformation. And when you truly believe that you can rebuild, nothing can stop you. Not failure, not rejection, not fear. And finally, I embraced resilience. Life will knock you down. It will challenge you in ways you never imagined. But it is in getting back up again and again that we truly rebuild. I learned to see every obstacle as an opportunity, every setback as a lesson, and every ending as a new beginning. Today, I stand here as proof that we are not defined by what happens to us. We are defined by how we respond. I rebuilt myself, not overnight, not magically, but deliberately, with courage, with discipline, with belief, and with unwavering resilience. And if I can do it, so can you. Because within you lies the same power, the same strength, the same ability to rebuild, renew, and rise. The question is not, can you rebuild? The question is, will you decide today to start facing your truth as the single most powerful step you can take in your journey to rebuild yourself? It is the foundation upon which every transformation is built, because nothing changes until you honestly confront where you are, who you are, and what has been holding you back. Many people live in denial, in illusions, or in excuses. They tell themselves stories to feel comfortable, to avoid pain, to maintain a sense of security. It's not my fault. They say, I'll start tomorrow. They tell themselves, I just need the right circumstances. But the moment you face your truth, you step out of that illusion and you reclaim your power. Facing your truth is not about self-punishment. It is about clarity. It is about seeing your life with crystal clear honesty and realizing what is real, what is holding you back, and what you have the power to change. It is about courage, because it takes courage to look at the broken pieces of your life, the mistakes you've made, the times you've fallen short, and to admit without judgment that this is your starting point. When you face your truth, you stop running from reality. You stop blaming other circumstances or luck. You stop living in a fantasy of what could have been and start embracing what is. There is freedom in truth, because it allows you to take responsibility for yourself and your future. The moment you acknowledge the reality of your life, you also open the door to transformation. Every great success, every life that has been rebuilt, begins with this step unflinching honesty. You must be willing to look at your fears, your failures, your habits, your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions, and see them for what they really are. You must look at the patterns in your life, the decisions that have led to pain or stagnation, and see them clearly. Facing your truth means no more excuses, no more hiding, no more pretending that everything is fine when it isn't. It means saying to yourself, this is real. This is my life. These are my choices. These are my results. And I have the power to change them. Many people avoid this step because it is uncomfortable. It can be painful to admit that you have made mistakes, that you have failed, that you have been wrong. But that discomfort is temporary. The growth and empowerment that come from truth are permanent. When you face your truth, you gain clarity about what is working and what is not. You gain insight into the habits, behaviors, and beliefs that have been keeping you stuck. You see the lies you've been telling yourself and the stories you've been using to justify inaction or fear. And once you see them, you can start to dismantle them. Facing your truth also means confronting your fears, because fear is often the biggest barrier to change. Many of us avoid looking at the truth because we are afraid of what it will reveal. We are afraid we are not good enough, not capable enough, not worthy enough. We are afraid of the judgment of others or even our own judgment. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is taking action despite fear. When you face your truth, you take the first courageous step toward rebuilding yourself. You also begin to understand your patterns of self-sabotage because truth reveals the moments when you've held yourself back. It shows you where you've allowed limiting beliefs to control your actions, where you've chosen comfort over growth, and where you've ignored your potential. And once you see these patterns clearly, you can break them. Facing your truth is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. Every day you have the opportunity to check in with yourself, to ask yourself whether you are being honest about your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your results. Every day you can choose to stop lying to yourself, stop hiding behind excuses, and stop avoiding the hard realities of life. This practice builds integrity with yourself. It creates a deep sense of trust in your own judgment and in your ability to navigate challenges. When you face your truth consistently, you stop giving your power away to external circumstances or other people. You reclaim it for yourself. You begin to see that your life is the direct result of your choices, your actions, and your mindset, and that understanding opens the door to real transformation. Facing your truth also brings emotional liberation. So often, people carry guilt, shame, resentment, or regret because they refuse to confront the truth of their actions or their lives. By facing the truth, you release those emotions. You see what has happened clearly, and you allow yourself to feel it without being trapped by it. You acknowledge your responsibility, but you do not beat yourself up. You accept the past, you learn from it, and you move forward. Another critical aspect of facing your truth is accepting your current state without judgment. It is easy to feel ashamed or frustrated by where you are right now, but judgment clouds clarity. Facing your truth is about seeing things as they are, not as you wish they were. It is about being brutally honest while remaining compassionate with yourself. This honesty is empowering because it creates a clear map for change. Once you know where you are, you can chart a course to where you want to go. You can identify the specific steps, habits, and actions that will lead you to rebuild your life. You cannot change what you refuse to see, and that is why facing your truth is non-negotiable. It is the gateway to responsibility, action, and ultimate transformation. Finally, facing your truth is an act of love for yourself, for your future, and for everyone who depends on you, whether it is your family, your colleagues, or your community. By confronting your reality, you honor your potential, your vision, and your life itself. It is a declaration that you will no longer be a victim of circumstance. You will no longer hide in excuses or illusions. You will step into your power, your clarity, and your ability to create a life that is extraordinary. Facing your truth is not easy, but it is the beginning of everything you want, the first step in rebuilding yourself from the inside out, and the foundation for lasting success, happiness, and fulfillment. Taking full responsibility is the moment when you step out of victimhood and claim your power. It is one of the most transformative decisions you can make in your life because it shifts the focus from blame to action, from excuses to results, from limitations to possibilities. Many people go through life pointing fingers, blaming circumstances, blaming other people, blaming luck, blaming the system, and blaming the past. If only my parents did this, they say. If only my boss appreciated me, they say. If only I had the right opportunity, they say. But the truth is that blaming anything or anyone outside of yourself robs you of power. The moment you stop blaming and start taking responsibility, you reclaim control over your life. Responsibility is not about feeling guilty or punishing yourself for past mistakes. It is about acknowledging that your life is the direct result of your decisions, your habits, your mindset, and your actions. Every outcome you have experienced, good or bad, can be traced back to a choice you made, whether conscious or unconscious. When you fully accept responsibility, you stop being a passenger in your own life and become the driver. You begin to understand that every success, every failure, every relationship, every achievement, and every disappointment is a reflection of your own choices. This realization is not limiting, it is liberating. It means that you are not at the mercy of circumstances or other people. It means that you have the power to change, to grow, to improve, and to create the life you want. Taking responsibility requires honesty with yourself. It requires looking in the mirror and saying, I am accountable for this. I made this happen, and I can change it. This honesty is uncomfortable for many because it removes the safety net of excuses. It challenges your ego, your pride, and your sense of security. But growth never comes from comfort. Growth comes from acknowledging reality and choosing to take action. Responsibility is also about understanding that your emotions, reactions, and decisions are yours alone. You cannot control what other people do, but you can control how you respond. You cannot change the past, but you can influence your future. You cannot always choose your circumstances, but you can always choose your mindset and your actions. When you embrace this principle, you stop being reactive and start being proactive. You stop complaining and start creating. You stop waiting for others to fix your problems and start fixing them yourself. Taking responsibility is the ultimate form of empowerment because it places the solution inside of you where it belongs. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to exercise your power, to learn, and to grow. Every setback becomes a chance to adjust, improve, and rebuild. This mindset is what separates those who succeed from those who remain stuck. Responsibility is not a burden, it is a tool. It allows you to see clearly where you have control and where you do not. It allows you to focus your energy on what you can influence rather than wasting it on what you cannot. It transforms fear into action, excuses into results, and doubt into determination. Many people confuse responsibility with blame or guilt. They think that taking responsibility means punishing themselves or beating themselves up for what went wrong. But real responsibility is liberating, not debilitating. It is a statement of power. I may not be perfect. I may have made mistakes, but I am capable of changing, learning, and taking action to create the life I want. Responsibility also demands courage. It is easier to blame others to avoid discomfort and to hide behind circumstances. It is far more courageous to admit mistakes, to accept accountability, and to take decisive action to correct course. Every great achiever, every leader, every person who has rebuilt their life has embraced this principle. They did not wait for the world to change for them. They changed themselves first. They accepted that the only thing they could truly control was their own choices, and they made those choices with clarity, intention, and commitment. Taking responsibility is closely tied to ownership of your results. Whether you are succeeding or failing, your results are yours to claim. If you are experiencing challenges, take responsibility for the role you played in creating them, and then take responsibility for the actions required to overcome them. If you are experiencing success, take responsibility for the habits, decisions, and mindset that led to it, and then commit to sustaining and growing it. This mindset creates consistency, integrity, and resilience. It also eliminates the victim mentality that traps so many people in mediocrity. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting for permission, approval, or guidance from others. You stop looking for someone else to fix your life or to hand you opportunities. You recognize that your life is a direct result of your own choices, and you take full ownership of it. Responsibility also creates freedom because it removes dependence on external circumstances. You stop being at the mercy of luck, timing, or other people's decisions. You realize that you are the architect of your own destiny, and that realization is incredibly empowering. Another crucial aspect of taking responsibility is accountability. When you hold yourself accountable, you commit to following through on your promises, your goals, and your actions. You set high standards for yourself and refuse to settle for mediocrity. Accountability ensures that you do not drift through life, reacting to events, but instead you actively shape your path. Responsibility also involves learning from mistakes. When something goes wrong, the responsible person does not dwell on the past or assign blame. Instead, they analyze, adapt, and implement changes to prevent repetition. Mistakes are no longer failures. They become lessons, opportunities, and stepping stones. Taking responsibility transforms your relationships as well. When you own your actions, your communication, and your impact on others, you create trust, respect, and credibility. People are drawn to those who take responsibility because they are reliable, consistent, and powerful in their integrity. It also allows you to influence others positively by example, demonstrating that growth and change start with oneself. When you take full responsibility, you also develop resilience. You understand that setbacks are temporary and within your ability to overcome. You stop feeling helpless in the face of challenges and instead see them as tests of your resourcefulness, courage, and commitment. Responsibility instills discipline because it requires consistent action and conscious choices. You cannot claim responsibility without being intentional about your daily decisions. You cannot claim responsibility without aligning your actions with your goals, values, and vision. And discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality, between intention and achievement. Taking full responsibility is not a one-time choice. It is a lifestyle, a mindset, a way of being. It is the conscious decision to never give your power away to anyone or anything, to embrace your role as the creator of your life, and to act with purpose and clarity in every area of your existence. By taking responsibility, you empower yourself to rebuild, to transform, and to achieve beyond what you ever imagined. Massive, consistent action is the engine that turns vision into reality, the bridge between dreams and achievements, and the force that transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. It is not enough to have a vision, a plan, or even belief in yourself. Without action, everything remains potential, ideas floating in your mind, Goals written on paper, desires unfulfilled. The world rewards action, not intention. The moment you decide to rebuild yourself, massive, consistent action becomes non-negotiable. Many people fail not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunities, but because they fail to act, or they act inconsistently without purpose or persistence. Action without consistency is like planting a seed and never watering it. It may have potential, but it will never grow. Consistency without massive effort is like watering a tiny seed once a month and expecting a forest. Real transformation requires both magnitude and continuity. Massive action means going beyond what is comfortable, easy, or convenient. It means pushing past resistance, fear, and procrastination. It means committing fully, refusing to settle for mediocrity, and embracing the reality that extraordinary results require extraordinary effort. Consistent action means doing it every day, no matter your mood, circumstances, or external challenges. It is not dependent on motivation, which fluctuates like the wind. It is rooted in discipline, purpose, and vision. The combination of massive effort applied consistently compounds over time, creating unstoppable momentum. It is through this momentum that ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things. Massive, consistent action also demands focus. It is not about being busy for the sake of being busy. Many people mistake activity for progress, running in circles, filling their days with tasks, yet never moving closer to their vision. True massive action is strategic, aligned with your goals, and directed toward results. It requires clarity of purpose, prioritization of what matters most, and elimination of distractions that dilute your energy. Every step you take must be deliberate, intentional, and aimed at moving you closer to the life you want to create. Taking massive, consistent action also requires embracing discomfort. Growth does not occur in comfort zones. Transformation requires stretching, risking, and stepping into situations where failure, criticism, or rejection is possible. Many people avoid action because they fear these possibilities. They wait for perfect timing, for external conditions to align, or for inspiration to strike. But real progress is born from courage and commitment, not from waiting. When you act massively and consistently, you develop resilience and momentum that carry you through obstacles. Challenges become opportunities. Setbacks become lessons, and resistance becomes fuel for growth. You learn to adapt, innovate, and persist until results manifest. Massive, consistent action is also deeply empowering because it shifts your mindset from reactive to proactive. Instead of waiting for life to happen, you create it. You recognize that your circumstances respond to your actions, not your complaints. Every action, no matter how small, moves you closer to your goals. Every step taken consistently compounds into massive results over time. It is important to understand that results do not always appear immediately. The path of massive, consistent action is often long and requires patience. Yet, those who persist see exponential growth. Just like a small investment compounded daily becomes substantial over time, every action you take compounds to create momentum, mastery, and breakthroughs. One of the most powerful aspects of massive, consistent action is that it builds confidence. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates belief. Many people are paralyzed by fear or doubt, waiting to feel ready or to have confidence. But confidence is not a prerequisite for action. It is the byproduct of it. The more you act, the more you see results, the more you develop skills, knowledge, and strength, and the more your belief in yourself grows. Massive, consistent action also requires accountability. It is not enough to act when you feel motivated. You must hold yourself responsible for following through, for staying committed, and for maintaining the intensity required to achieve results. Accountability ensures that you do not drift, that you do not settle, and that you continuously push toward your goals. It creates discipline, focus, and clarity. Another key element of massive, consistent action is the willingness to adjust and adapt. You must take action, observe results, learn from mistakes, and refine your approach. Action without reflection leads to repetition without progress. By consistently acting, learning, and improving, you create a feedback loop that accelerates growth and ensures continuous forward momentum. Massive, consistent action is not limited to physical activity. It includes mental, emotional, and strategic action as well. It is about training your mind, mastering your emotions, and aligning your decisions with your vision. Every thought, every belief, every choice contributes to the action you take and the results you achieve. Taking massive, consistent action also requires energy management. Your results are directly proportional to the energy, intensity, and focus you bring to your efforts. This means prioritizing your health, mindset, and environment to sustain high performance over time. Massive, consistent action compounds not only through effort, but through quality, intensity, and alignment. Finally, massive, consistent action creates a ripple effect. One action leads to another, one step builds another, and one success fuels the next. Momentum grows, confidence expands, and the world begins to respond to your commitment, your energy, and your results. The act of rebuilding yourself is impossible without it. Ideas, plans, and beliefs alone do not create transformation. Massive, consistent action is the bridge that connects who you are today with who you are capable of becoming, the force that turns dreams into reality, and the principle that separates those who rebuild their lives from those who remain stuck in mediocrity, waiting for circumstances, luck, or inspiration to save them, when in reality, it is their own action, taken consistently and with purpose, that will determine their destiny. Unshakable belief is the invisible force that fuels every transformation, drives every breakthrough, and sustains every person who decides to rebuild their life. It is the foundation of resilience, the anchor in turbulent times, and the engine behind consistent action. Without belief, even the most powerful plans, the most strategic actions, and the clearest vision cannot manifest into results. Belief is what determines whether you will quit at the first sign of difficulty or push forward until you succeed. Many people underestimate the power of belief, thinking that effort alone is enough or that circumstances dictate results. But history, personal experience, and countless examples show that belief precedes achievement. Belief is not wishful thinking or blind optimism. It is a deep, unwavering confidence in your own ability to overcome, to learn, and to create the outcomes you desire. It is knowing in your bones, even in the face of doubt, uncertainty, or failure, that you have what it takes to rebuild yourself. Unshakable belief begins with the stories you tell yourself. Every person has an internal narrative, a voice that interprets events, circumstances, and challenges. When that voice doubts, excuses, or criticizes, it undermines your ability to act and to grow. When that voice affirms, encourages, and insists on your potential, it becomes a powerful ally. Cultivating unshakable belief means rewriting your internal narrative, refusing to accept limitations, and choosing to see possibilities where others see obstacles. It means telling yourself that you are capable, worthy, and equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Belief is also a conscious choice. It is not passive. You cannot wait for life to hand you certainty or for circumstances to align perfectly. You must decide in every moment to believe in yourself and in your ability to create results. This choice is reinforced by action because action strengthens belief and belief strengthens action. They are interdependent. The process of rebuilding yourself requires countless moments of choice, and each time you act in alignment with your belief, you reinforce it. Doubts will arise. Fear will attempt to creep in. Life will challenge you in ways that shake your confidence. But unshakable belief is not swayed by temporary setbacks. It is grounded in a deeper understanding of your strengths, your resilience, and your capacity to adapt. It is forged through experience, reflection, and repeated proof that you can overcome, learn, and grow. Unshakable belief also requires surrounding yourself with the right influences. The people, environments, and inputs you engage with can either strengthen or weaken your confidence. When you immerse yourself in positivity, inspiration, and support, your belief in yourself grows exponentially. Conversely, toxic, negative, or doubtful influences can erode even the strongest conviction. Being deliberate about the energy you allow into your life is essential for sustaining unshakable belief. Another key aspect of belief is visualization. Those who rebuild themselves visualize the outcome they desire with clarity and intensity. They imagine the life they are creating, the person they are becoming, and the impact they will have. This visualization is not fantasy. It is a mental rehearsal that primes the brain, conditions the emotions, and aligns actions with intention. Belief is strengthened each time you take steps that confirm your vision because you see tangible proof of your potential in action. Unshakable belief also requires embracing responsibility. You cannot truly believe in yourself if you continue to blame others or external circumstances for your life. Belief is intertwined with accountability because it acknowledges that while you cannot control everything, you can control your actions, your mindset, and your response to challenges. This acknowledgement strengthens your confidence and propels consistent effort. Belief is tested through adversity. Rebuilding yourself is never a linear path. You will face setbacks, criticism, and moments of doubt. The strength of your belief determines whether you will rise or collapse. Those with unshakable belief see obstacles not as reasons to quit, but as challenges to overcome, as opportunities to learn, and as evidence that the path to growth is real. The world tests belief constantly, but each test strengthens it if met with courage and persistence. Unshakable belief also inspires action. It motivates you to take steps that might otherwise feel impossible. It drives creativity, resourcefulness, and innovation. When you believe deeply in yourself and your potential, fear diminishes and boldness emerges. You attempt things that others shy away from, and through action, your belief is reinforced, creating a cycle of confidence and accomplishment. Belief also shapes perception. It colors the way you interpret challenges, setbacks, and opportunities. When you believe in your ability to succeed, challenges are seen as opportunities to grow. When belief wavers, challenges are seen as insurmountable obstacles. Choosing unshakable belief transforms your experience of life itself, creating a lens of possibility rather than limitation. Another critical aspect of belief is patience. Transformation and rebuilding take time. Belief allows you to persist even when immediate results are not visible. It sustains you through the process, knowing that consistent action, learning, and perseverance will yield results. Impatience, doubt, and uncertainty are neutralized when belief is deeply rooted. Belief is also contagious. When you embody confidence in yourself and your potential, others respond. They support you, align with your vision, and open doors that might otherwise remain closed. By believing in yourself, you create an energy that draws opportunity, collaboration, and success. Finally, unshakable belief is a commitment to your potential. It is the refusal to accept less than what you are capable of. It is the insistence on growth, the courage to face challenges, and the determination to rebuild yourself into the person you know you can become. It transforms fear into fuel, doubt into action, and possibility into reality. It is the secret force behind every transformation, every breakthrough, and every extraordinary life, providing the inner certainty that no matter how difficult the journey, you have the ability to persist, overcome, and rise to your full potential. A resilient mindset is the cornerstone of rebuilding yourself, the unshakable foundation that allows you to persevere, adapt, and grow no matter what life throws at you. Life is unpredictable. Challenges arise without warning, failures strike when you least expect them, and circumstances can shift in ways that feel overwhelming. Without resilience, these moments can crush your spirit, derail your progress, and leave you feeling powerless. But with a resilient mindset, you not only survive adversity, you thrive because of it. Resilience is not about avoiding pain, hardship, or failure. It is about how you respond to these inevitable parts of life. It is about maintaining focus, clarity, and determination even in the face of setbacks. It is about bouncing back stronger each time, learning from experiences, and using them as fuel for growth. Developing a resilient mindset begins with perception. The way you interpret events, setbacks, and challenges determines your emotional response and your capacity to act. Resilient individuals see obstacles not as threats, but as opportunities to learn, improve, and demonstrate courage. They understand that failure is not a permanent condition, but a signal to adjust, adapt, and persist. Resilience is strengthened through responsibility. When you take ownership of your actions, decisions, and outcomes, you recognize that you have the power to influence your life. Blaming others or circumstances undermines resilience because it places your fate in external hands. Accepting responsibility empowers you to make choices, take action, and navigate challenges with confidence and clarity. Another critical aspect of a resilient mindset is adaptability. Life rarely unfolds exactly as planned. Circumstances change, goals shift, and unforeseen challenges appear. Resilient people do not resist change, they embrace it. They are flexible in their approach, willing to adjust strategies, and open to learning new skills. Adaptability transforms obstacles into opportunities and uncertainty into potential. Resilience also demands emotional mastery. It is normal to feel frustration, disappointment, fear, or anger when faced with adversity. What distinguishes those with a resilient mindset is their ability to manage these emotions constructively. They do not let temporary emotional states dictate permanent decisions. Instead, they acknowledge their feelings, process them, and move forward with clarity and purpose. Developing resilience involves cultivating a sense of purpose. When your actions are aligned with a meaningful goal or vision, setbacks become temporary distractions rather than insurmountable barriers. Purpose provides direction, motivation, and energy, enabling you to persevere when challenges feel overwhelming. Resilient individuals have an unshakable belief in their capacity to overcome. They trust their skills, their experience, and their ability to learn and grow. This confidence does not come from guarantees or certainty, but from repeated evidence of their own resourcefulness, perseverance, and ability to adapt under pressure. Resilience is also built through consistent action. Challenges are not solved by inaction or avoidance. They are overcome by deliberate, focused effort. By taking action, learning from results, and adjusting as necessary, you reinforce your confidence and strengthen your capacity to handle future obstacles. Resilient individuals embrace failure as a teacher. Every setback provides information, insight, and a roadmap for improvement. They do not view mistakes as indicators of inability, but as essential components of growth. This perspective transforms fear of failure into curiosity, experimentation, and determination, fueling continued progress. Another element of resilience is patience. Rebuilding yourself, achieving goals, and overcoming obstacles often require sustained effort over time. Resilient people understand that immediate results are rare and that persistence is essential. They maintain focus on long-term objectives while managing short-term challenges with composure and strategic thinking. Support systems play a vital role in resilience. While resilience begins internally, surrounding yourself with people who encourage challenge and inspire you strengthens your capacity to persevere. Mentors, peers, friends, and family can provide perspective, guidance, and motivation when challenges feel overwhelming, complementing your internal resources. Resilient individuals also cultivate self-awareness. They recognize their strengths, limitations, triggers, and patterns. This awareness allows them to respond effectively rather than react impulsively, to leverage their skills optimally, and to continuously improve. They understand which areas require attention, growth, or support, and they act proactively to address them. Resilience is deeply connected to mindset. The language you use, the thoughts you entertain, and the beliefs you hold shape your capacity to persist. A resilient mindset embraces optimism grounded in reality, confidence rooted in competence, and courage tempered by strategy. It does not ignore challenges, but it refuses to be paralyzed by them. Physical and mental discipline also reinforce resilience. Maintaining energy, focus, and clarity requires attention to habits, routines, and well-being. Resilient people prioritize sleep, nutrition, exercise, mental training, and stress management to ensure they have the stamina and clarity to face challenges effectively. Gratitude and perspective further strengthen resilience. By focusing on what is working, what has been achieved, and the resources available, resilient individuals maintain motivation and avoid despair. They celebrate progress, however small, and draw strength from the acknowledgement of past victories and lessons learned. A resilient mindset also requires decisiveness. Challenges often demand action, even when uncertainty exists. Hesitation or indecision can magnify difficulty and prolong suffering. Resilient individuals make choices with confidence, commit to their course of action, and adjust based on results. They embrace discomfort as part of growth rather than avoiding it. Finally, resilience is a habit cultivated through repeated practice. Each time you confront a challenge, adapt to change, persevere despite obstacles, and maintain focus, your resilience strengthens. It becomes a default state of being, a lens through which you approach life, and a force that carries you through every challenge, setback, and opportunity with courage, clarity, and unwavering determination. Those who master a resilient mindset do not simply survive life's trials, they emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable each time, creating a life defined not by circumstances, but by their response, their actions, and their unbreakable spirit.